Go milk a space whale while we talk this week's
Initial codes. Part 1. Initial codes. Part 1. Initial codes.
Welcome again, Best of Trekkers. Today, we're here for Lower Deck's third episode of the 5th season, The Best Exotic Nanite Hotel. Right off the bat, the title is a play on the movie The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. A bit too artsy and wordy of a title for me, but an accurate descriptor. Our heroes are here on the space cruise ship Cosmic Duchess to capture and rehome a glumpus of nanites, like Wesley Crusher once experimented with in TNG's Evolution. Let's go through the B-plot first, as Boimler, Ransom, and Billups go on a side quest to this cruise ship with Dixon Hill slot machines. My first like of the episode comes for Billups' undercover name, Gilbert Manhandle. I died laughing at that one. Though it's not so funny for Bradward, as a handless jet gives him a warning that he's just cannon fodder for Ransom's craziness. The whole thing is in service of bringing a rogue admiral back into the Starfleet fold. Along the way, I have a like for Gallimites. You know, like the often mentioned but never seen Captain Baudet that Jadzia often tried to set Kira up with. Also at the bar is a ship in a bottle, which probably calls back to Booby Trap. Looking at you, fan home, for that Promelian battlecruiser I can put in a bottle. I do find it kind of weird we've got the most easily offended race in the galaxy, Cretaceans, at the bar. Is going to a place where people eat and drink like going to a brothel for these guys? A bit weird that they set themselves up to play the victim, but it works for the purposes of playing into Bradward's fears about being a canary in the coal mine. The next set piece for the trio is totally not the Paramount logo mountain. Eventually, they're seized by a group of other guests that are for some reason loyal to Admiral Milius, including a Gorn and a Gallardonian from episode 1 of this series. When Boimler finally comes face to face with the Admiral, I have a like for this cinematography faux camera choice of the two being shown talking as reflections in the water, as if Bradward's looking at himself in a few decades. They go on about how boring space whale milk is, and Brad has to clarify the endangered Gormagander or the Galaxy Child space ravioli. Apparently Boimler's wiry frame pays off as they do capture the Admiral, who gets a like for surmising he'll probably be in charge of a fleet stationed out of Starbase 80, the recurring worst position in the galaxy, which it appears we're going to get more of in a couple of episodes. In the main plot, our 4 other main characters work on trapping the nanites, though there's a 5th wheel in this away party, and it's Mariner's former girlfriend, Jen. I have a like for finally coming back to their relationship a few seasons after it looked like they broke up. The thing is, it looks like Jen didn't get the memo, and apparently Mariner didn't put a cover on that TPS report, or send it, or even write it. And as much as I like seeing some resolution here, I'm just going to jump ahead and give how Jen handles this a dislike. She went all crazy ex-girlfriend meme to try and force Mariner to acknowledge any kind of status between them. In some breakups, ambiguity can be the worst part. The problem here is that Jennifer herself abandoned Beckett at her lowest point without even hearing her side of the story. That's pretty cold, and I guess coming from an Andorian on an ice planet, that makes some sense, but I really didn't like how she was trying to make something she put the final nails in the coffin of Mariner's problem. Things seem to end amicably enough between the two as Jen gets promoted to the Manitoba, and this is likely the last we've seen of her. Though, not before coming up with the fix to a giant nanite D20 that rolled a Nat 1 right over Rutherford, Tendi, T'Lyn, and her favorite musician, Krog. In fact, it's T'Lyn with Krog's vibe tube instrument that does the actual disruption of the nanites. And I have a like for Krog bonding with her over super logical vibes. All these smaller self-contained plots give way to what's clearly the season arc when Rutherford finds a tiny Intrepid-class USS Endeavour that was controlling the Glumpus, which I have a like for. They're from a smaller alternate dimension and came here through a quantum fissure. Going back to the first episode of the season, that's what took the Cerritos to an alternate dimension, and at the beginning, Mariner mentioned that this was the third one they'd closed that week. Clearly, something's going on with the barrier between realities. My random prediction is it will have something to do with Badgie or the Great Koala, or both, but I guess we'll find out soon enough. Make sure you chat with me and other Trek YouTubers live this and every Monday as we dig deeper into this episode on our weekly podcast. But until next time, I've been your host, Dustin Wing.